if the Daniel Defense Delta 5 Pro folding stock adapter made your length of pole too short. This video is for you. Sure Shot Tactical bringing you a solutions video of fixing an issue with your Daniel Defense Delta 5 Pro if it's an issue for you. Might not be. So the way that the stock goes together on the Delta 5 Pro is there's a spacer in there. It's 1 3/4 inches long. And when Daniel Defense introduced the folding stock adapter, it reduced the length of the spacer down to just this size, which is 3/4 of an inch. So effectively you've lost 1 inch in your length of pole of the rifle. So length of pole, of course, is measured from your trigger to your stock back here. You can see the way that I ran mine with the 1 3/4 inch spacer was with the stock extended out to here. I only have about another 3/4 of an inch to be able to extend it out. So give me a moment. I'm going to disassemble the stock and put the folding stock adapter in, and you're going to see what happens and why this was a problem for me, and I've got a solution for you. I'm using a ball end Allen key. It just makes it a whole lot easier to get in, and as you can see, I already have the screws loosened. If this was from the factory, you would have to use the short end of the Allen key to be able to get the leverage that's necessary. And now I'm going to remove the other one. And once you get that one out, by the way, you can just do a straight through approach through the hole to the other one to get to it. So now we've got the spacer out, and we've got these components. You have 2 washers with one side cut off and the 2 bolts. Now the folding stock adapter comes with new bolts, but they're the same as these, so I'm not quite sure why Daniel Defense does that. So we're going to install this in the proper orientation, which is the large side of this pivot up. And we're going to use one of those 2 bolts without the washer and connect that to the rifle. And I'm just going to snug that up for the purpose of the video. Now we're going to take our stock and attach the other side. Again, using one of the original bolts or the bolts that come with the folding stock adapter. Okay, connected, folding stock adapter in place. Problem is I've just reduced my length of pole. My eye relief is wrong, and now to fix that, what I'm going to do is extend this out as far as I can to regain that 1 inch. And presto, that's it. So that might work for you. For me, I didn't like it. I mean, I was really at the limit of where this can go to, and the eye relief was still a little tricky for me. Also didn't particularly care for the aesthetics of what I'm looking at here. So I've got a solution for you, and there's actually 2 different solutions, so you can pick and choose which one works best for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this all the way back in, because either of these 2 solutions is going to restore it back to essentially its bare minimum extension. So we're going to get that all the way in. Oops. There we go. Just bound up a little bit. My finger was hitting the set screw on the back side. So I'm going to bring that almost all the way in. Cosmetically, I like that look better than before. Now we're going to open this up, and we're going to remove this side of it, just the stock portion. And this is where you have choices. And your choices are either to install the spacer again, And what we have is a little adapter here that fits in. So it's a double female adapter. And it's a tight fit. I'm going to close it so I can get a little leverage on it. There we go. And now we can open this back up. And now the stock attaches like this. And what we've done now is we've actually added 3/4 of an inch to the overall length of pole. So give me a second, I'll put the screws in. So this goes together a little differently, and you're going to need some different hardware to be able to do this. So here are some different length bolts, same type. They are low profile Allen key hardened bolts. And in this scenario, what we're going to do is we're going to go with a slightly longer bolt. Here's the one that was originally from Daniel Defense, the short one. And here's the longer one. I believe that these are 1.25 inches, if I recall. So we're going to put that in. We're going to put the folding stock adapter on with the adapter. And now we're going to do one of our flat washers. And we're going to put on the most expensive nut I've ever bought in my life. One nut, $5. And it's a hardened acorn nut or cap nut. And I just thought that it would look a whole lot better in there than having just a traditional nut. So here I am getting all fancy. And we'll just snug that down a little bit. Now, on the stock side, we're going to put this together exactly the way that Daniel Defense runs it, which is we've got our flat washer sticking through there. Oops, that's going to bump into the vise. I just need to extend it out a little bit. Now this is where the ball-headed Allen key really is helpful. Otherwise you're making little 20-degree type incremental turns with the short end of the Allen key. So presto, there we go. Now we've got 3/4 of an inch, another 1/8 of an inch for the spacer, plus our original 1 3/4 inches. So if you like that look, or if you're someone with particularly long arms or need for a long length of pole, this is a way to achieve that, and you still have all the adjustment of your butt pad that it can come out further. So that's solution number 1. Let's look at solution number 2. I'll disassemble this, getting it back to just the folding stock adapter. And in solution number 2, we don't use the Daniel Defense provided spacer. There we go. Get that bolt out of there. Nice thing is this acorn nut in there is against the back, so you don't need a wrench to hold it in place. It's not going to turn. All you need to do is unscrew it from this side. And there we go. We're going to get all that out of there. So we're back to where we were a moment ago. So for this one, we're going to take a 1 inch spacer, and we're going to insert it in there. And instead of using that 1 1/4 inch bolt, we're going to use a 2-inch bolt. This is the longest bolt that I can find of a low profile Allen key type bolt. And that's nice tight fit. Again, we're going to open this up a wee bit just so that I can get this position. You can see there's a lot of thread engagement on this, probably more than it needs to be. If I wanted to make that like 1 1/4 inch, could probably even stretch it out to that. But what this solution is going to give you is basically getting it back to the original Daniel Defense spacer spec. The 3/4 inches of the folding stock adapter plus the 1 inch of the spacer that I just inserted gives you 1 3/4 inches. we go. So that's solution number 2. Back to the original spacer dimension. Get my adapter off of that, and we'll just place that on top of it. So you can see we're right back to where we started, except now it folds. And you have your length of pull adjustment as well. Hope those tips help you. If you're interested in these products or any of the Sure Shot Tactical products, just contact me at info@sureshottactical.com. Happy to help you. All of these 3D printed items are available through my business partner, Poe Legacy Prints. And they'll be able to print them, supply you the nuts and bolts, all the pieces that go together. One little tip I should mention, when this came from the supplier, the coating was so heavily caked into the threads, there was no way to get a bolt into there. So we need to run a tap through these before you try to insert a bolt, unless it was just an anomaly, but that's the way that mine came. So now the threads are nicely cleaned out and it's good to go. Hope to hear from you. If I can help you, just reach out. Haven't determined the price on this yet, but by the time I start hearing from people, we'll do that. It'll be a nominal cost.